when people are not going after their dreams, it tells me that we're locked into a system, and a system that sometimes doesn't work for us personally and humanity. And I think you have to be bold enough to break out of that system and say, hey, I know you say I should be working a 9 to 5. And when I work this many hours, I will receive this much pay, but I'm not being fulfilled. So that's when you have that serious talk with yourself and say, can I still make money and have opportunity doing what I love, doing what I've been called to do, what brings me passion? See, I look at it as position. That's a job. Passion is what you may love to do, but you may not make any money at all. Purpose allows you and affords you an opportunity to do what you love, as well as doing what you've been called to do. So working in purpose, it's a bigger leap of faith. It's a blind leap of faith. But if you know going in that everything that you was born to do is already inside of you, it's a matter of you tapping into it. Why not? Because when you work a job, you go to school to learn a skill set, and someone else tapping into you and tell you that, okay, you're good at this now. Now we're going to employ you, but I make money off of you. Now, you know, I believe in a system that says my gifts will make room for me, and they surely did. So this is where I believe self-work is important, because when I believe more in myself, I believe more in myself than I do the system. And that's why I have taken that leap of faith. That's why I continue on that journey, because I believe in me. I think what's missing is that a lot of individuals have not had an opportunity to really get to know self and believe in self and know that you're not going to let yourself down. I'm rooting for me every day. Every single day, I'm rooting for me.
Hi, my name is Zenka. I'm founder of LightNet, and my passion and purpose is removing impossible from your minds. I am not alone in this. Dr. Marty Casey is one of the most charismatic, bright, passionate people in the world, and she has created an organization called the UnGUN Institute, Disarming Trauma. And she teaches people in those moments of rage and seeing red to stop, think, and breathe. And her message is very powerful, and it's almost as powerful as she is as a person. In this interview, you're going to listen to her talk about what it means to believe in yourself and what it means to change the world.
I really want you to start looking in the mirror with intention. Not looking to hope to see something, but looking to see what you actually see and being okay with that. And if it's something that you see that you're not okay with, then start working on those changes, because I can't change anyone else. I can only change myself. It's that self-work again. It goes back to the individual. The more I got to know Marty, the more Marty was getting to know others, and others was beginning to accept Marty, because I'm authentically myself. I'm unapologetically myself. I'm me. You get to decide, oh, Marty's my cup of tea, or not. But it's okay, because I'm going to be Marty no matter what you decide. Wow. When did I discover my passion and my purpose and my calling? First of all, I want to say that there's 3 different areas of my life, right? My passion, some of the things that I'm passionate about, make sure that it is inclusive as I walk out my purpose. But my calling is totally different, because when I got called to do a certain thing that we're going to talk about, I had no idea that I would be called to do that. But my passion and my purpose is inclusive to my calling. So You asked when. My passion, I was born to sing. And I have been a professional actress at a very young age, like about 19 years old, singing since the age of 19 professional. Those are things I'm passionate about, right? But when I got into that purpose walk, it's when I understood that the language that I needed to speak to others and helping them heal is through the arts. So all of that, those things that I've been doing as an artist, I use those tools to help others to heal. It's the universal language, if you will, that we actually exchange with. But my calling is truly, I am a religious motivator in a sense. And I don't want to say, let me scratch that. Let me say, not religious motivator, but you can tell that I am grounded in my beliefs. And through my beliefs and my calling that comes through in everything that I do, when I'm speaking, when I'm performing, when I'm presenting, even when I'm thinking I'm not talented to it, I am, because it's what I'm called to do. I started singing at the age of 12, where I discovered that I had a voice and I could sing. I was singing at all of the family funerals. And from there, I started singing in school. I realized it was something that made me feel good and when you sing, you're releasing, someone else is hearing, so they're now receiving. And when you can see that they're starting to feel what you're feeling when you're releasing, I said, this is medicine. And through that medicine, it allowed me to have that exchange with others. And I realized that some of my darkest times, I had music. In some of my biggest celebrations, there was music. So I've always had music all around me. I also started writing, directing, and producing stage plays. And I'm a professional actress. I've been in movies and different things like that. And so it all goes hand in hand. It's the arts, right? It's the arts. But when I am able to communicate to someone where maybe we have a language barrier, maybe we don't have the same belief systems, but we start talking about music, or we talk about a movie, or we discuss stories and backgrounds, that's where that connects us. And so I look at that as the power of the arts. And that's when it became inclusive for me to incorporate it in everything that I do. At 25 years old, my daughter was 5, and I had an opportunity to go and sing in Europe for 4 months. And so I did 2 tours over in Europe, in France and Germany. I had 5-year-old, and I was a single parent. And it was at that moment, like, do I go after my dreams, right? Or do I continue to just kind of find a job and take care of my child, and I don't want to say that like in the normal sense, but the traditional sense. And every day I just kept thinking about, if I don't take this opportunity, will it ever come around again? So that's when I tapped into my village, my support system. And I asked my family, my mother and my great-grandmother at that time, are you all willing to assist me by helping to see after my daughter while I go away and sing for 4 months on tour in Europe? And if it goes well, then I'll come back and we'll see where it goes from there. And it went well, and I never looked back. So I've been touring my daughter's entire life. My daughter just turned 33, but the magic is everything that I was doing and my daughter's doing now. If 90% of people are not going after their dreams, it tells me that we're locked into a system, and a system that sometimes doesn't work for us personally and humanity. And I think you have to be bold enough to break out of that system and say, hey, I know you say I should be working a 9 to 5, and when I work this many hours, I will receive this much pay, but I'm not being fulfilled. So that's when you have that serious talk with yourself and say, can I still make money and have opportunity doing what I love, doing what I've been called to do, what brings me passion. See, I look at it as position. That's a job. Passion is what you may love to do, but you may not make any money at all. Purpose allows you and affords you an opportunity to do what you love, as well as doing what you've been called to do. So working in purpose, it's a bigger leap of faith. It's a blind leap of faith. But if you know going in that everything that you was born to do is already inside of you, it's a matter of you tapping into it. Why not? Because when you work a job, you go to school to learn a skill set and someone else tapping into you and tell you that, okay, you're good at this now. Now we're going to employ you, but I make money off of you. Now, I believe in a system that says my gifts will make room for me. They surely did. This is where I believe self-work is important, because when I believe more in myself, I believe more in myself than I do the system. And that's why I have taken that leap of faith. That's why I continue on that journey, because I believe in me. I think what's missing is that a lot of individuals have not had an opportunity to really get to know self and believe in self and know that you're not going to let yourself down. I'm rooting for me every day. Every single day I'm rooting for me. Every day I wake up and I think about, what is it that you want to do that helps with what you're doing? How do you move forward? Coming here, I came alone. I traveled alone from St. Louis, a flight from St. Louis to Boston, Boston to Madrid, Madrid to Ibiza. Who does that? Me, because I believe in self. How does one believe in themselves? Do you know you? That's the first thing I'm going to ask. How well do you know yourself? And that starts with our emotional track. What makes you happy? What makes you sad? What triggers you? What brings you joy? What motivates you? If I start asking those types of questions, a lot of times people stumble and they have to stop and really think. But if I ask a very simple question to someone that they're around all the time, they can answer without hesitation. If I ask a wife, what brings your husband joy? Oh, he absolutely loves when I, what brings you joy? And that's what you get, right? I really want you to start looking in the mirror with intention. Not looking to hope to see something, but looking to see what you actually see and being okay with that. And if it's something that you see that you're not okay with, then start working on those changes, because I can't change anyone else. I can only change myself. It's that self-work again. It goes back to the individual. The more I got to know Marty, the more Marty was getting to know others, and others was beginning to accept Marty, because I'm authentically myself. I'm unapologetically myself. I mean, you get to decide, Marty's my cup of tea, or not. But it's okay, because I'm going to be Marty no matter what you decide. Believing in yourself is setting goals. It's just knowing that, okay, this is what I'm going to do. And when you set out to do that, whatever that may be, so I'm going to give an example for myself. If I'm asked, I was just asked to do a presentation at one of the largest, most prestigious universities in our city. And I was like, can I really do this? Well, yeah. I speak everywhere else. Why not? Why am I being intimidated? Because these are doctors and professors. Okay, let's do it. And when I did it, sweating on my nose, clammy in my hands, I was able to inspire a lot of those individuals in the room, because I showed up as myself. I did it scared, I did it. I achieved it. So now I'm looking for, well, what other universities do I want to go and speak at and transition and take this message somewhere else? And when I set that goal and I did it, I achieved it. And now I want to continue that. You have to just take one step forward. That's the hardest part of what we're talking about today. When an individual hasn't begun that journey of finding their purpose and their passion, they're too scared to take that first step. And that first step is simple. It's, I'm going to believe in me. Well, there's been a lot of shifts and changes, if you will, over the last few years. And what's happening is a lot of the administrators and professors or what have you are finding that it seems as if they're not really connecting with students any longer because of the way the dynamic has changed since COVID. So they wanted me to come and talk about reignite, restore, and reimagine. And in doing that, I shared with them a story about my husband, who was a 2-time state wrestling champion in high school in his freshman year and his junior year. But in his senior year, he took third. And what happened to the mindset of a champion, it shifted because he found out that he was expecting a child. So he allowed the fear of being a father to get in the way of his champion mindset. We do that every single day. It can be one simple thing or a big thing that comes along in our life that shifts us so we could lose someone or our job changes or anything like that. And we allow that to stand in the way of our belief system of who we are. Going back to just knowing you. If my husband held on to the fact that he's a champion, no matter what was going on in his life, I believe he would have been the first 3-time state champion. He was the first 2-time state. He could have been the first 3-time state. But he allowed a change that was taking place in his life to interrupt his mindset. And I think we all deal with that. So if you were a champion then, you're still a champion. I tell him now, your name's still hanging up in the school. So you were still a champion when you took third, but you forgot you were. It's a mindset thing. You got to know where you are at all times. The method that I created, UnGUN, was really, again, we've been talking a lot about self. I created what I needed because it was not available to me. I grew up at a time where you start talking about mental health or healing or a therapist. It was almost taboo in my home. I grew up with a great grandmother who was born in 1910. All she knew was God and church. And whatever was going on with you, you hit your knees, you pray about it, and God's going to take care of it. Then my grandmother didn't go to church at all. My mother was on the fence. Sometimes she went, sometimes she didn't. It just depends upon what she was dealing with. So for me, I really, truly had to find that balance. Where was that balance for me? Because I'm feeling some things and I'm dealing with some things, and it just seems heavy. And it didn't match my personality. Like, have you ever had a day where you just woke up and you just felt like you was in a funk? Like, and you knew that that's just not you. You wasn't yourself. Well, imagine being in a life where the life felt like it was funk. Because I watched my father abuse my mother. And that was not love. It was truly what it was abuse. So seeing that abuse, it had an effect on me because trauma is transferable and so is healing. So my father's transferring trauma. And I come from a place of love. There was not a good match there. So I was showing up sometimes, not my best self. And I was reacting to some of the energy and the trauma that was around me. So when things happened, I reacted and there's fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. I was a fighter. but that's not who I am from the core. I'm a person of love. So when I would react that way versus responding, my reaction caused a lot of chaos from the inside. And that's why I said this stuff work is important. It's that reflection of you knowing who you are. My circumstances put me in fight mode. But the core of who I am, I love. So I needed to work on me. So I created this method, and I used the arts in order to do it when I understood the power of the voice, of singing and speaking and doing theater, being able to express outside of the framework of how you live or who you are. It afforded me an opportunity to heal. And I said, wow, if I could bottle this up and teach others some of these simple tools and techniques, and I'll give you one. My biggest technique is stop, breathe, think. Simple. Stop, take a breath so that you can think. When we were growing up, I remember they were teaching us, and they made us practice this. If ever your body caught on fire, what are you supposed to do? Stop, drop, and roll. 3 simple words. But if you ask anyone, they're going to tell you that without thinking about it. Why? Because they made sure we practiced that. We knew it. We talked about it. We understood it. Now, personally, I've never been on fire. I'm grateful for that. But I know what to do. If ever I'm going to hit this floor and I'm just going to start rolling around, right? This is what I'm supposed to do. But no one taught us. What do you do when it feels like your brain's on fire? What do you do when that trauma hits, when that chaos kicks in, when you are emotionally unbalanced? You need to stop, breathe, think. I've created curriculum, and this is a part of the UnGUN method. And I'm excited about it because it's helping so many people across the world. 3 simple words, inspired by 3 simple words and of something I never had to do yet. But stop, breathe, and think. I have to do it every day. Every day. I'm faced with a situation where I may encounter someone and I want to say something, but it's not politically correct, or I want to do something and it's not really my place. And so I just stop, take a breath, and I think about the approach, and I think about the intention. And is it necessary? And it's helped me to be a better person. Those are the ones that are in fear, that's walking around with the guns and feeling like they have to prove themselves to someone. Someone who's trained to go out like a Navy SEAL individual. No, you won't even know that they're part of the Navy SEALs. That's like, they don't even discuss that. It's not up for discussion. But when the time comes for them to do their job, trust me, they're going to do it, and they're going to do it well. It's a time and a place for everything. It's a time and place for war. But there's also a time and place for peace. And right now, that time and place for peace starts with self. You're either living in pieces or you live in a life of peace. Which one is it? If you're living in pieces, you're broken. And hurt people, healed people, heal people. I live a life of peace because I mended my brokenness. So it goes back to what was asked earlier. What keeps people from moving forward in their passion? I think really, or their purpose, I think that's the answer. Broken people can't hold all these pieces together and move forward. You got to stop and mend those broken pieces so you can be whole to have purpose. So I would say we need to help people heal so that they can move in purpose. So I would honestly say the answer is you have to become whole. You have, if you really want to walk in purpose, you have to become whole, not broken. Because that's what it was for me. I looked like this wall in broken, shattered pieces. Like, I did until I became whole. Once I became whole, I could do anything. I could do anything. That's when I believed in Marty. Probably because I saw the wholeness of Marty. Yeah. Because at first I was just seeing her, myself, pieces, parts. Wasn't consistent. No, my mother tells me I was very shy up until the age of 12. And something happened, not shifted. Okay. So I wouldn't say that I was that way, but I will say that my grandmother was very intentional on making sure that I was confident about who I was. I've always been a pretty stout woman, short and heavy set. And I'm okay with that. My husband's okay with that, but I'm just saying that for reference that sometimes when we don't fit in the mold of how society sees us, then it starts to change the way we see ourselves. My grandmother made sure that that did not happen. So to your point, we have to start young. This is something we have to teach. This is something we need to embed in our children at a very young age. Children, they explore and they are born with the ideas that they can do anything. And they do. But we put the restrictions there. We set the boundaries there. And then they start to think, well, maybe I can't. And they back up. And so as you're getting older, and before you know it, you're all the way in the back of the room because you backed up that much. I need you to come forward again. I need you to come with the mindset of a child. I need you to explore. I need you to see life as it is today. It's a new day. It's the only day that's going to be this day. Do what you feel like doing. Do what you deserve. Do what you want. Do what makes you happy and what brings you joy. Just do it. I think if you was to ask others, like, who is Marty Casey? What does she bring? I think they're going to say honest. I think they're going to say she brings a level of safety and justice. I think that those are the things that kind of stand out front when I hear others speak about me. That's what I hear often. But what I set out to do, I just really want to be a dependable friend. I want to be that person, that human that if you need me, reach out. If I can help, I will. If I can't, I'll try to find someone who care. But I don't want to see you fall. So if I can just make things a little bit easier for you, that's what I set out to do. So in my purpose work, in my passion and all those things, that's what I bring forward. That's my intention. A pot of gumbo. The world would be a pot of gumbo if everyone was just living themselves and living. And allow, because let me say this, when we tap into being ourselves, I'm accepting me, right? That takes off so much pressure. That relieves you of so much stress of trying to fit in a box of something else, what someone else wants you to be. Like on your job, what do you have to be? Right? In your marriage, what do you have to be? As a parent, what do you have to be? But if I can just be me and that's accepted, oh my goodness, what a beautiful rainbow world this would be. Yeah. I mean, I think so. I want you to be you. I want him to be him. I want to be me. I just want to be myself.
Are you looking to begin your life of passion and purpose? We are waiting for you with our groups of 8 to 12. These loving teams are formed to look over our success data to find the fastest and funnest and most direct way for you to find your purpose and calling in life. To find out more, go to wholeandmovement.vet/purpose.